Hey Lumineers, my name is Shaik and I'm here to learn Lorcana together with you. Note that this is not a how to play tutorial. If you're looking for that, this is the wrong place. What this is a safe haven where I will play some Lorcana games and explain my choices. You in turn will call me on my misplays or faulty logic and help me to get better so I can help you to get better. So it's another Amber Emerald day. Improving on the deck we had yesterday, we removed 2 Hades, 2 Goofies, 4 just-in-times, and we also went down on the Hans and Tinkerbells. So that gives us 10 spots to work with. And for those 10 spots, we added in 4 Mickeys and 2 Jaspers. The 4 Mickeys because of the good stat line, and they can lure for 2. Then added in 2 Jaspers, so we have 10 3-drops. And this deck really wants to have a good curve. Also, the Jasper can disrupt our opponent, which could give us that additional turn which we need to close out the game. Then for the last 4 spots, we maxed out Be Our Guest and added in 2 Mother Knows Best. Mother Knows Best because of the control option that it has, so we can fight for board. And that's about it. We have a good start. Let's remove these cards. Trying to find a 3-drop. There's a 3-drop. Oh, nice, we got the Simba. That's a good start. So it's going to be Lilo into Simba into probably Mickey, depending on what my opponent plays. We have 2 Flynns, right? So we're going to ink a Flynn, even though it is a good card. But that way we have the option to play Meg if we need to. Opponent just questing. Okay. Let's see, what's his other color? Red. Alright. So this one's just gonna eat up our Simba. Is it then still worth to play the Simba? I can take this trade. Let's see. And then take this trade, right? We don't have any other way to protect the Simba. But I do think it is the correct play. Because we do need to contest the board. We're going to ink to Be Our Guest. And then we're going to play the Simba as a bodyguard so that it has to take this trade, and then he's going to be able to take that trade. But I just wanted to get rid of the Gustle. And then now in our next turn we can play the Mickey, which would be able to take care of the Archimedes. And in doing so, we can heal up with Rapunzel after. We're not going to be playing the Simba anytime soon. We don't really have anything we want to protect anymore. So inking the Simba, playing the Mickey, pass. Keeping the Meg to be able to buff one of our characters later on so that we can get rid of something big. Right. Opponent also refueling his hand. So if we are presented with this choice, it's better to take care of the Maleficent so that the Maleficent can't sing again. I don't think we need to raise now because our characters will be stronger than their characters, but I'm just thinking, right? Because like next turn 5, he could play the Aladdin, but we can take care of the, and then he's gonna run into the Mickey. So that would suck if he has it, but I think this is still the correct play. Inking Stitch. Whoa. First, attack into this. Then play this. Heal up. Draw 2 more cards. So now we have the stronger board, and our opponent, and we're keeping up with cards in hand. All right, so not the Aladdin. That's fortunate for us, because if he's going to quest with this, we can also take this trade. But we do need to take care of the Aladdin if he quests with the Aladdin. Okay. So that's a good card. Take this trade. Play this card. Heal up again. Draw 2 more cards. We are going to ink the Mad Hatter just to be able to keep up our options. And just quest for 2. And maybe now he does have the Aladdin. Currently, we're controlling the control deck. Alright. Because he played the Goofy, I don't think he has Be Prepared. Or else he overcommitted to the board, right? This would hurt him more than it would hurt us, especially with the cards we have in hand. I want to keep the Mother's Knows Best for something we actually have to get rid of. So we're not going to be playing that. We are going to play the Meg. But we're going to ink a Meg first. Yeah, ink a Meg. Play another Meg. Use her ability on this dude. Then take care of the Aladdin, because I am scared of the big boy Aladdin. We can take this trade because we're only 2 behind, right? We don't need to race. So we can just do this. I'm not going to commit any more to the board because now it is beneficial for him to play Be Prepared. And if he doesn't, then we can quest for 7. And there is the Be Prepared. So yeah, now we can just build up our board again because we didn't overcommit. We're gonna ink. Let's see if we play this dude. We have this as a 2-drop to play next turn. So we're not gonna ink, but we are going to play the Stitch. And now he needs to have the Dragon's Fire or another Be Prepared. And maybe a Maui. Can also get rid of this. No, because it can't attack non-exerted creatures. Alright, so now my opponent's going to be drawing a lot of cards and going to search for the correct cards. So that could be a problem. But at this point we have to commit to the board. Just play him normally, then use this effect. All right. But that's also fine, right? because we are now ahead on lore. We're ahead on cards. Next turn we can lure for 6. We don't need to play anything else, so we're just going to keep our hand. We could have also played the Jasper, but there I don't really see the point in playing the Jasper. Not yet. After this, if he doesn't do anything, we quest for 6, so we're on 14, and after that we could clear the we could win. He did find a Be Prepared, but that's all he's doing, right? He's just trying to keep up with our pressure. And let's see, we don't have any 2-drops for the Stitch, right? So I don't want to play the Stitch. I think now it's best to play the Cusco, because then only Be Prepared can take care of Cusco. We're gonna ink the Stitch, so then next turn we might be able to play Cusco and Jasper or another 3-drop. Because at this point, we need to start racing, try to get to 20 before our opponent can stabilize again. And dropping double Cusco is rough, right? Because that's going to quest for 6. After this, we're on 11. See, and there's the Maui. All right. And that's why we kept this card on hand. So we're going to Mother Knows Best. We're not going to sing. No, we're not going to sing. Send this card back to hand. Then we're going to ink, well, I guess the Jasper now, because we have a Lilo to play next turn. And then play the Cusco again. And now he needs to have another Be Prepared. Otherwise, we're going to go to 17, and then one of the 2 Cuscos is enough to make game. Right, because he has Rush. Select, yes. So we're gonna quest. We want to play this card and play this card. Then pass. If he has a Be, no, this is lethal. If he has a Be Prepared, then it's gonna be rough. If he doesn't, then he needs to have 2 Dragon's Fire, which he can't have. That's too bad. He found his 3rd Be Prepared. We're still going strong because he's still playing catch up, and we still have the card advantage. So we're gonna be our guess to find a good card to play. Let's see, your 3 cost. We only have no, so we're gonna draw this one so that we can play the Mad Hatter and another Lilo. Unfortunately, that does not set up lethal, but we're getting there. And this is why I said we had to race, right? Because now he's getting to a point where he's stabilizing. We're running out of cards, and he can just draw cards every turn. Huh, that might have been a good card to play though, because then you could have contested the Lilo. But all we can do right now is just play our cards. Chose not to play the Rapunzel because that's our only form of card draw at the moment. So I'd rather keep that on hand. But as it turns out, it would have been better to play it, because then we would have won this turn. All right. Well, you live, you learn. So, Dragon's Fire or Bust? Ah. Dragon also good. So now we're just gonna fill up our board. He has to, that's fine. He has to take care of both of them, or else he loses. Be prepared does that. Another dragon doesn't do that. 2 dragon fires does that. What else? LeFou to exert one of them. Oh no, because LeFou restands one of them. No, I actually don't know. What else? All right, so that was a tough one. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. We don't have the correct 1 drop. So let's see if we can find her. We don't, but that's okay. Let's see. We have this one. I'm gonna ink the Mad Hatter because it's gonna take a while before we can play him. And we also have another 5 drop to play. Going up against Ruby. All right. Now we also have a 4 drop. So I want to ink the Stitch because it's important to get tempo. So basically we need to play a card every turn, which will now be the Simba. Let's see. Well, that might as well use his ability. And if we draw into a BR cast, we can sing it. All right, Ruby Emerald. So our opponent's then off to a rough start. Now we're gonna ink the Hans, then play the Mickey, and just start questing. Hopefully we'll draw a card to ink next turn. That's a card we can ink. I'm just gonna fill up the board, right? Because we're racing. He's aggro, we're aggro. I don't need to take care of this, and we're running low on cards on hand. So if this keeps going like this, then we'll win the race. Turn 5, he's probably gonna play Dragon's Fire. So this turn we're still safe, and turn 7 he might play Be Prepared. That's also a reason why I don't want to trade into his minions, because then Be Prepared is less beneficial for him. He could have used the LeFou to restand my Simba and get around the bodyguard, but then he doesn't have anything to kill. All right, so play the Stitch so we can play the Cusco. So then next turn he'll probably, well, he needs to get rid of like my whole board. At least these 2, right? So he probably can't get rid of this one. So then he needs to get rid of this one. That makes it 7, and this one. Or both these. Because now we're, yeah, 7. Hans can attack into this one. Get rid of it. Then we're on 6, so then he still needs to get rid of one more. All right, and that's it. So this was a good game to depict how important tempo is. As long as you can keep playing your 1 to 5, right, you'll gain massive advantage. Depending on what your opponent does, and this opponent didn't really interact with our board. 1 drop and our 3 drop, we're gonna search for the Simba. That's too bad. A lot of 1 drops. Going to ink the 1 drop then. I am going to play the Lilo and pass. Because we don't have a 2 drop, might have been better to play the Stitch, just because the Stitch has more survivability. Here we're gonna ink another Stitch because I don't see us. Well, actually, no, it would be better to ink the Mickey and then just load up the board. Because our opponent's playing red, so be prepared is a thing. But what's the other color, right? All right. Okay. So now we're gonna play the Flynn, drop the Mickey, and just start questing. Because our hand is, well, kind of weak. It's mostly just lower drop minions. I think I made the decision to rush, load up the board, and just see where we can, how far we can get. Don't know if that was correct, but we'll see. We need to get this Rapunzel off because we're running low on cards and he has a ton of cards in hand. See, this can also ready a character. So maybe he's debating that, right? Readying this one and then attacking into this. Okay. So we need to take this trade because we don't want our Mickey to die. Then if he wants to take this trade, that's fine. And here, I need to play the Rapunzel later. So we're going to ink the Jasper. Not play the Rapunzel because I want the card draw, right? And we have the Aladdin to slam the Mickey into if he doesn't take the Stitch trade. Otherwise, we'll just lose to card advantage. He does take the trade. Smart. He probably had to read that I have the Rapunzel. So next turn. Okay, so next turn he can either Dragonfire or Mickey, right? But in 2 more turns, he can do Be Prepared. So I'm debating whether to play the Cusco or not. Because if I play the Cusco and he has Be Prepared, then that's going to be his go-to, right? maybe that would be better to, yeah. Let's try to bait him into playing the Be Prepared if he has it. So that we can, after this turn, quest for 5 more. Because then he'll ink till, no, then he still has to play the Dragon's Fire. Right, because then now we quest for 5. I'm not gonna ink the Stitch because I can also ink the Stitch next turn and then play the Genie if needed. And I don't want to commit more to the board. Well, don't I want to commit more to the board? We can take the gamble, right? Because then he needs to... Yeah, let's take the gamble. So ink this, and then because we already have lethal on board and he can't play Be Prepared. When you play this character, you may cancel. Yeah, okay. Thought for a second that I had to. So now he needs a Dragon's Fire to take care of this. And then somehow get rid of the Mickey or the Cusco. So I guess it was a good decision, seeing as we had low-cost minions in hand, to try and rush our opponent. Also because I believe on the first turn he didn't play anything. Well, he put down the shield, right? So we could just take control of the board at that moment. And that tempo helped us to get to this point where we have lethal before he can play Be Prepared. And he might have Dragon's Fire, so that's why it was a good idea to play the Genie. Because I don't see any other way for him to win now. And I think he's also not seeing that, but who knows. Oh wow, a hand with only big cards. No, Hard Mulligan, try to find a better 2-drop and a 3-drop. Didn't find the better 2-drop. Well, next, okay, so now we can choose, right? Either the Meg or the Stitch. And if we don't get a better 2-drop, then it's, I think we're gonna play another Stitch next turn. Stat line's better than the Meg, and the Meg is better to play later to try and get rid of something. And then on a later turn, because we also don't have our 3-drop, we could potentially play the Meg, buff a Stitch, and chuck the Stitch into something, right? Oh, Steel. Huh, first time seeing Steel against this deck. That's gonna be rough. All right, we do have a 3-drop now, which has a lot of health, so that's gonna help us in this match because they have a lot of removal, right? So we do want to get the Jasper down on a later turn. For now, if our Stitch survives, then this would be better. So we're gonna ink the Meg, play another Stitch, and try and see if he will survive or not. All right, next turn, hopefully we get another card that we can ink so we can play the Jasper. After that, well, it's the same to play the Hans. Oh, right, because then on turn 4 we can either play the Hans or the Stitch. So on turn 4, if we don't get an inkable card, we'll just ink the Hans to play the Stitch. Kind of depends. Let's see. All right. So ink this one. Play the Jasper. Take this trade. I don't think we need to rush. So we're just gonna fight for board. Jasper can take out her, and otherwise when he quests, he can make it so that she doesn't quest. What does this do? All right. Okay. Let's see. We're gonna ink the cat. I'm gonna take this trade because then we took maximum value out of the stitch, and I don't see an Aurora. Not an Aurora. I don't see an Rapunzel. And then we're gonna shift this dude into this dude. And then quest. Next turn, we can play the Hans if we don't have anything to ink. Or if we draw a 1-drop or a 2-drop, right? Then we'll play the 1 or 2 drops to get Rockstar's effect off. We currently have board. Hand size is low, but our opponent also has a low hand size. They are ramping a lot though. So because of the fishbone quill, I think now is the time for us to raise, because as soon as they get to their 7 drops like Hades, right, we're just gonna fall too far behind. And they also play the ink, the think. All right. Let's see, when she attacks, damage. All right. Well, let's just see if we can draw anything, right, to help us here, which we do not. This is an evasive character, but I'd rather have the Hans, because the evasiveness doesn't matter with the thing, right? So quest with this. Make sure that doesn't quest. So probably take this trade and then kill off this one. You can do 2 damage to a character, so kill this and kill this. Oh, that sucks. So kill this and kill this. That's rough. I don't see us coming back from this. Steel's a rough matchup for this deck. Let's see. We could play the Cusco. This will take this trade. So let's quest, make sure that this doesn't... No, wait, that you can't quest? Right. So then if this trade happens, he at least takes out the Think. And if I place the Cusco, it'll get 2 damage, but that's alright, because it can't be targeted, right? Alright. So, let's see. Our goal now is to get to 20 as fast as we can. Hopefully our opponent won't draw into the removal cards, right? Or will draw into multiple Cuscos, because that can give us the win. However, if he draws his smashes, his fire the cannons, grab the swords, he'll just wipe our board every time, right? Okay, so that's nice. Our opponent now has no cards in hand. Oh, only has 1 card in hand. All right. So curious to see. Oh, wow. A whole new world, huh? Ha! And we just drew a bunch of Cuscos. And grab your sword isn't strong enough to get rid of our Cuscos, so that's nice. This might have just given us the win. Opponent debating whether to attack or not. Oh, he can't choose Cusco for that ability. Huh, nice. All right. We're still ahead on ink or on lore. We do need something to ink. Well, that's then just gonna be our guest. Drop another Cusco. Start questing. Okay, so our opponent can now, well, he needs to have the, what's it called? Grab your swords, right? Because Cusco can't be targeted. So next turn we're gonna go to 7, then we play another Cusco, and then we're gonna go to 20. And if he manages to get rid of him by playing 2 grab your swords, then we still have the last Cusco. But just in case, we're gonna ink our be our guest. Okay, they now have ward. All right. Ink this. Play this. So why are we inking the Be Our Guest? Well, we actually have the cards that we need to win, right? We have the Cuscos. So we don't need to Be Our Guests anymore. We could play it here to see what card we get, but no. I'd rather keep it to ink next turn as well, because Be Our Guest isn't going to give us the win. Our characters are going to give us the win now. There we go, grab your swords, and one more. He's gonna dig for it. No, last chance. Ah, nice. All right, and that's why we have another Cusco. Unfortunately, we don't have another 3-drop to play, but next turn we can like ink the Stitch and then play these two, right? Like if he can get rid of this Cusco as well. He inks for 7 because these are 2 each. Okay. All right. No, don't like this hand. Okay, so now we have our 1, 2, 3. So that's nice. We have a better one. However, we don't have the Simba. Playing against Emerald. Probably princesses. Oh, steal. Ooh, another steal. All right. So the thing with Lilo is if you don't play her on turn 1, she's just gonna sit there and be a dead card in your hand, right? But to do contest the board better, because now if he tries the quest with the Captain Hook, we can just take the trade. So let's see. Probably Flynn is the better choice into Cat, making it difficult for, well, I don't think we're gonna need to stop him, so we're gonna ink this card. So we don't need to stop him from questing, right? Because he's not a rush type of deck. If we quest with the Duke now, then this card is just going to take that trade. So basically we're gonna build up our board. I think that's the better game plan here. Building up our board, trying to use the cat to quest. Oh man, our opponent has an insane start. This contests us so hard. And next turn, Big Tink is probably gonna come down because he inked a Tink, right? He wouldn't have done that if he didn't have another one. So he did. So we can take this trade and this trade to get a little bit more mileage out of our dudes. I think that's better. And then play the Mickey to contest the board. So then don't play the... Oh, well then just ink another Jasper, right? He does have a lot of health. Though. I don't know, maybe it would have been better to play the Jasper there. Just because he has 4 health. I don't know. Here we're gonna take this trade. Or else our guys are just gonna sit back and do nothing all day long. And now it's just to see if he has Big Tink. And if he has Big Tink, then our guys die. Yep, there's Big Tink. So yeah, I knew that was a risk. I knew that that was basically bait, right? But at one point we need to do something or else we're just gonna get stuck all game. Let's see, we're gonna play Be Our Guest, see if we can draw something worthwhile. He's gonna attack into the Mickey if the Mickey quests. So let's draw that card, and let's ink this card, and then play the both Lilos, and just pass. See if he has Grab Your Swords. Wow, he had all the answers. Alright, so sometimes you win them and sometimes you lose them. Alright, here we go again. Huh, finally find a Simba. Because we found a Simba, I want to see if we can find a Lilo. Unfortunately, we do not. So here we're gonna ink the Cheshire Cat because we have 2 of them in hand, and I'd rather keep my options open. Right, so then on turn 3 we can either play the cat or the Mickey and still have our turn 4 play. Playing against Ruby. Ruby Amethyst, alright. So now it's the same issue, right? We got 2 Mickeys, so ink a Mickey. So we can play our bodyguard and have our options open for next turn. All right. Okay, basically he just forfeited this guy. So I'm not sure if that was the correct play, right? Because now our bodyguard can just take this and then take another card when he makes this trade. This one's gonna quest. We can now choose either Tink or Hans, but I think it's better to ink the Meg because I don't see us playing her anytime soon. I want to have the cat down and then pass. Maybe Mickey would have been better, but the cat's just an annoying character, right? For if he plays something bigger this turn that the Mickey couldn't take care of, the cat can take care of. So that's why we played the cat. Also, we inked the Meg because then on next turn we can choose between Tinkerbell or Hans, and I don't think we're gonna need the Meg anytime soon, right? So our bodyguard takes out 2 guys. All right. So we're gonna ink the Tink, or because Hans lures for 3. So we're gonna ink the Tink. I do want to keep the Flynn on hand because just like the Tink, right? It quests for 2, but this one also lets our opponent discard a card. Then we're gonna lure for a lot, and then we're gonna start worrying about not playing into a Be Prepared. All right. So now the question is, do we quest with the Hans? If he has the big Aladdin, right, then this trade's gonna happen, which I don't like. So we're gonna keep the Hans up. If he wants to play the Aladdin, he has to push it into the cat. play one more card because we're questing for 5. So we just play this one as well. And no, I don't actually want to ink this one because we also need to keep up our hand for be prepared. Playing the Flynn, because if he does have the Aladdin and he doesn't play it this turn but wants to play it the turn after, right? He'd have to discard a card. All right, dropping the Maui. Cool. So it was the correct choice to not quest with the Hans. As you can see, he still has his Aladdin up, right? He didn't quest with it. So that tells me that he does have the big Aladdin. So we're not going to quest with Hans. We are going to quest with Flynn, because if he wants to take this trade, then that's fine. Because he then has to discard another card. And we're starting to catch up. Play Be Our Guest. Oh, this is a good card to draw. But I don't think it's a good card to draw now, though. Well, let's just go for another Flynn, so that we can also add that one to the board. And then pass. Also, if he doesn't have the big Aladdin and this is just a bluff, then kudos to him, man. He's inking a Maui. Interesting. Alright, so now he's gonna draw a ton of cards. Alright. Next turn is Be Prepared turn, so we're not gonna commit to the board. Still don't want to quest with the Hans. Let's see, if he plays Be Prepared, then it's better for us to be at 15, right? So we are going to ink the Duke now, so that next turn we can just play whatever we draw, right? But if he has the Aladdin, then he'll play the Aladdin, rush it into the Hans. And that would suck. If we keep the Hans up, we still don't have game next turn. So, okay, we're gonna set up lethal. If he plays the Aladdin and takes this trade, then we're back to 13. 13 plus 4 makes it 17. Okay. So this one is rough because my opponent has 2 difficult cards and both cards require a different strategy to play around. And I'd rather have him play the Aladdin than him playing Be Prepared. Alright. Because now we can quest up to, let's see, 17. Right, so we're gonna quest up to 17. We have 2 good units that we can drop after he plays Be Prepared. Pass. If he goes into one of these, yes, he'll take 2 more lore from us, but we still have 5 here. So he also needs to have a Dragonfire or something. Be Prepared would clear his Aladdin, and if he rushes into the Flynn, then he has to discard a card. Ah, nice. And he's gonna discard another card. Cool. Alright, that's fine, because now that he's low on hand, we can just drop our hand, right, and see if we can win. We're gonna keep the Mad Hatter up. And now he needs to have be prepared. Yep. Oh, Dragon's Fire would also work, by the way. Because this is exactly 4. Not enough. All right. But yeah, that last match was rough, man. It was either Aladdin or Be Prepared, and we actually knew he had the Aladdin, but there was also the chance that he had to Be Prepared, right? We're gonna keep both of these because I'd rather, if we don't find the Simba, I'd rather play the Duke. And otherwise, if we did found the Simba, we could have inked the Duke. Let's see. I'm gonna ink the Stitch because it's gonna be a while before we see him, right? Then play the Duke and pass. Could have also inked Be Our Guest. I only actually, well, sometimes I do play Be Our Guest, but mostly it's just when I can sing it with like a Simba or something, right? Now I am going to ink the Be Our Guest. And there we go. Huh. Maybe a mirror match. All right. Let's ink the Be Our Guest. We don't wanna discard cards from hand. I think we can take this trade. I think that's best. And then play Mickey. So why play Mickey instead of the Cheshire Cat? Because on turn 3, I don't think he has anything with more health than my Mickey. And Mickey is just a stronger minion if we need to ram it into something, right? Whereas, like for instance, now the Mickey can take care of the Flynn, whereas the cat couldn't. So we're gonna do that. That means that we are going to lose on the race, and then we're gonna discard the Lilo, right? Because the Lilo actually doesn't do anything. I don't wanna ink the Stitch. And I don't need to ink the Stitch. At least I think I don't. So I'm gonna play the cat. And now we have board, right? We are ahead on board. If he takes the Flynn out, then he also has to discard a card. And if he doesn't, then our Mickey can get value by trading into his Mickey, and then our one Mickey took out 2 cards. And that's why I prefer to play the Mickey instead of the cat. All right. Oh boy. So now we do have to ink the Stitch, because we want to play our Genie at one point, and I think we are going to have to. I think that that we're going to have to play the Genie in order to win, right? So we can take this trade to stay ahead on board, and also stay ahead on lore. However, oh, I should have played the Lilo. Oh, okay. Well, that was a mistake. However, we did have a weak turn. And the next card we get, we are going to have to ink. So this is where our opponent can catch up, which sucks. Okay. So we're gonna flood the board now. He doesn't have a board wipe, right? And he's also almost out of cards, and now we need to race. But this card should have been on the field, so we should have actually been on 15. So we still have lethal on board. So now he needs to take care of the Flynn, lose a card in the process. And this can't take care of anything. Yeah, so if we then had the Lilo on board, we probably would have won next turn. Depending on if he doesn't have any other form of removal this turn, right? And that just shows you that one little mistake could cost you the game. Because we're basically just giving him an additional turn, right? Ah, nice. Genie. See? Genie is the card, man. And then take this straight. You're gonna have to. All right. Another cat. Okay, so we do need to ink the cat. So that next turn, if we draw an inkable, we can play our genie if that's necessary, right? So let's play this dude. Okay, he's on 7. That makes 16. So we're just gonna ink and let him deal with our characters. This trade is going to happen probably. That means that he, and then maybe even this trade. So he's not progressing, and the cat isn't enough to give us the win. So that's unfortunate. All right. Yeah. So now he's not progressing his board state or his lore state, right? So next turn he still doesn't have get. Okay, so it's good that we inked the Cheshire Cat. So this should be it, because he can't get rid of the Cusco, and he doesn't have enough lore. But yeah, that genie can just get you one more turn, right? And sometimes that's all you need. Okay, let's see. Simba, Mickey, Stitch. We're gonna keep the Flynn just to see if we can get the Lilo. Is it more important to get the Lilo? Or no, it's more important to get the Lilo. Why is it more important to get the Lilo? The deck is aggro. You need to have a good start. You don't really have any good comeback mechanics, right? Let's see, what are we gonna ink? We have 2-3 drops. Well, I want to play this one, right? So then we're gonna ink the Hans and then play the Stitch. All right. Yeah, so you don't have any good comeback mechanics, right? You only play like the Mother's Knows Best, maybe the Megs can help, or the Genie. So okay, we don't have anything that we need to protect, so we're gonna get rid of the Simba and then play the Flynn. So because we can't come back if we are behind, we need a good start to prevent us getting behind, if that makes sense. Okay, so it's steel again. Does that change our plan? Not really. Higher health minions are then more important. I think we're gonna then prefer to play the cat instead of the Mickey. Why? Because if he now goes into big think, right, we can just keep questing with the cat. And if he tries to take that trade, then the big thing dies. And same here, right? He has to discard a card from hand with the Flynn. And there's smash. All right. Turn 4. This one's gonna go into our Stitch. We do need to like load up the board, so just playing one Aurora isn't going to be enough. We don't have any other high health minions, unfortunately. The Mickey would have been a good one right about now. But we're gonna load up the board with the Flynn and the Stitch so that we can continue questing, right? Trying to outpace them before they can fully control our board. I'm also not sure if they have that great of a hand, because the first 2 turns they didn't play anything. Let's see. All right. So this is unfortunate, right? If we had a character with 1 more health, we could have taken the trade and then also healed back up. Okay, let's see. I want to play the Mad Hatter. So Ink and Rapunzel, play the Hatter. Let's see, if we take this trade, then this trade's gonna happen. I think that's better to take this trade, because then we are still fighting for board. And if this trade happens, then this trade can happen. Then we can heal up the Hatter for 3, and that would be better, right? All right, didn't do anything. Okay. So then quest with this. Just gonna try to make that trade happen. Quest with this. This dude just dies. But then, okay, so then we're gonna play as a bodyguard. So he has to do this before he can do this. And if he does this, then this one will be, or will survive with 1 health. So we can make this trade and then still get the Rapunzel off. And that's the important thing now, right? Trying to get the Rapunzel off, trying to refuel so that we can keep going. All right, start questing. Oh, and then he can ready her, right? Cool. But then still we can get it going here if we need to. Oh, he's gonna pop off now. All right. Let's see. If we're gonna race, we'll probably win. And at this point, I think that's the better idea, right? I'm not gonna ink. I'm gonna keep the Rapunzel in hand just in case. And now he can take back board, but he does need to get rid of the Hans, or else we'll win. So let it go. Hades. Smash. Huh. So then smash. He didn't draw smash? It's too bad we didn't drew into a Cusco, but we can search for it. No, we don't have enough ink for that. Oh, well, we can make one of our characters sing to find the Cusco and then play the Cusco. Then that's going to be game. So if he had a smash, right, what he could have done is chuck these two into him and chuck her into him. And then smash on the Hans. And then our board would have been cleared. So then we couldn't sing. So that would have been rough. That would have been his way to get back, right? So I'm actually wondering why he's now just drawing cards. Don't know if there's anything he can do with 0 ink, but who knows? Oh, he's making his character sing. All right. So yeah, that's gonna be game.